Filter and fill. This is how I describe the neurotypical thought process. This explains why neurotypicals do not listen to you, the autistic person. They filter out 90% of everything they hear, every input they have. They just throw most of it out. Usually that doesn't matter because usually when people are saying things, they're just doing social actions, not actually exchanging information. But when the autistic person says something, it's usually important. And it's often novel. And that makes their brains shut down. They can't process it. They don't want to, first of all, because they're jerks, but also they can't because they filter 90% of everything. So the only way there's a chance that they will hear you is if you give them 10% novel information inside a bunch of stock phrases. If you say a bunch of stuff that matches their predictions of what they can imagine you might say, and then sprinkle in a couple of novel ideas, they might get it a little bit. But, I don't know, try it, see if it works. But most of the time, what they're gonna do is filter everything out. And then, since there's a void there, since they filter 90% of the information, they have to fill that void. So that's why I call it filter and fill. That's why they don't listen to you, because they just throw everything out. And then they imagine what they would have said if they were you, but they ain't you. They're really, really different from you. But they're never going to put in the effort to try to understand you, to try to model your mind, to try to empathize. The only empathy that they can perform is self-empathy, because they are ultimately self-centered. There's nothing in the universe except from them. They can't tell self from other. They can't tell themselves from the person they're talking to or from the systems that they live under. And they feel very defensive and protective of those expectations. And those expectations, those decide the communication, the verbal communication that they're doing too. So that's what I call filter and fill. It's simple. They just filtered 90% of all information coming in, including 90% of the information that you say. Then in that missing middle, they just insert whatever they want to imagine. Whatever's the most obvious thing, whatever tickles their emotional responses and then latches on like some free radical